If we look at the bad guys and the reason ransomware is so successful, it's automation. It's the fact that in the past they had to steal credit card numbers, and if you looked at the process, they had to go through to monetize a pile of credit card numbers, creating cards, having mules go out, buy products, sell those products in eBay or wherever, to launder these numbers, selling dumps in forums and things like that. With ransomware, the entire thing is automated, using Bitcoin, go straight in their bank account. They just set it up, launch a campaign, and sit back and make money. So automation is working for them, and we need to make it work for us.
How have you seen automation work well? Because one of the problems that I have heard is that some companies can't even patch, and they haven't figured a way to automate their patching at all. So where, I guess, is patching the first place to start with automation?
Honestly, there's not just a first place. I think you have to look at your processes, and if your processes are well defined, you start looking at the things you do manually, and you start automating those things. If almost any company you go in, look at their incident response process, look at their daily defense processes, there's going to be some stuff you're going to see people doing manually that, if you've ever done any kind of scripting, any kind of automation, is just going to make you want to tear your hair out. You start with that stuff. You look at how people are spending their time, and you go for that low-hanging fruit, so you can free up these people to work on more important things. Cut out this mundane stuff that's easy to automate, or maybe you can even replace it with some managed services, something like that. Let somebody else worry about the mundane, and the rote stuff there. So I like to say email is a terrible API. If you see somebody exporting something out of a product to a CSV file or an Excel spreadsheet, then they mail it to the firewall guy and he imports it in, and that's how you manage blacklists. Stop it. Just automate it where it goes from product A to product B. You just click into product, or maybe it's a third-party piece, like you see companies like Phantom Networks, have these automation workflows. They call them playbooks. Where you just automate the whole thing. So if you've ever played with gadgets and IoT stuff and some of that, think if this then that. The way you think about all the cool stuff you can do with changing a light to a different color. If you get an email or text from your wife or something like that, the light turns red. You're just thinking of those kinds of scenarios, but in the enterprise security world.
So from automation, the next step I see is some kind of artificial intelligence. So you have automation, but a way to sort of learn as to what's going on. What have you seen be successful in the AI space for security?
So I see AI and machine learning as nothing more than an extension of that automation that we're talking about.
So specifically, give me an example in the security space with AI.
Sure. So I found anywhere where you have external intelligence, so you've got public information, so say malware samples, file and website reputation, threat intelligence, works great for AI because the vendor can take all that information, and really everybody's seeing the same thing for the most part. You do have some niche cases where maybe at the state level government's attacking you, things like that. Totally different stuff you have to do to address that. But for the bulk of stuff we're seeing, like ransomware, we can take care of it with this because it can be finely tuned by the vendor because everyone has access to the same data. Everybody can get malware samples. Everyone can get, file, website reputation samples, threat intelligence. Everybody's got that. Where it doesn't work as well that I've found is when the vendor hasn't seen the data before. Like say internal security, your logs, all the events that happen within the company, that gets a little bit more difficult for a vendor to put together something that works really well for everybody because everybody runs their business a little different.